What's going on, you guys? This is Mo with another episode of Wheels and Paws. This is part 2 to the first video that I made. If you watched the first video, you know what I'm up to. We're gonna drop the transmission right now. Axles are out. I gotta take the half shaft out, the linkage, drop the transmission, disconnect the battery, disconnect the starter. You guys are all gonna see it. Let's go. All right, let's go ahead and remove the battery. That way we can disconnect the power. So we'll disconnect the power because when we disconnect the starter, you don't want to have power running through. So the battery is disconnected. Now we're going to take off the charge pipes, and the charge pipes are going to allow me to gain access disconnect the wastegate vacuum line. Not being nice to me right now. This bottom coupler is just not letting loose. There it goes. Okay, so we got the first part out here. Now we got to take the top part out to give me access to the transmission bolts and the starter, and also the motor mount. I forgot about that guy. Easy does it. Alright, so as you can see here, you got the starter. I already disconnected the power line, so it's safe to remove this bolt right here that connects the power, fuse box power. Disconnect the ground, radiator can stay. I'll disconnect the linkage and the flywheel protector. This is a truck must-have when you drag race at the track. So we're removing the plate flywheel protector right now. It's attached with 2 Allen bolts and the 17 millimeters that go inside the transmission. I'll show you guys when I break it down below. I'll remove the starter cables. So now I'm going to remove the ground wire that connects to the transmission to the chassis. Now we remove the starter. One starter bolt out. the other one. And we got the starter. Got to disconnect the sensor for the speedometer, the speedo. We got to disconnect the reverse sensor. We got to disconnect the clutch line. Remove this bracket from the bottom. All right, so we're going to break this bolt here to 17 off so we could free the flywheel protection plate. And then once that's off, we can remove the clutch line, the motor mount. I'll do the half shaft, linkage, and we could drop the trend. There you have it. The bottom part is out. So these 14 mil bolts on the half shaft, you gotta break them loose. So before I remove the half shaft, it's already broken loose. I just want to take out the linkage because it's gonna leak oil. I don't want it to leak oil all over the linkage. So the linkage is broke loose. Now with the hammer and the punch, you have to remove the little cotter pin that sits right here between the shift linkage and the transmission shifter. There you have it. Alright, so we're going to just drain the oil to make it easier. And I'm going to show you guys why I'm doing this. So if you see this bolt, this is a magnetic drain plug. This is all metal shavings from inside the transmission. So the reason why I'm rebuilding it is because it's grinding second and third gear. And if I'm gonna go racing, you don't want to be grinding the gears. See this? It's all metal shavings. So we're going to clean this up, drain the fluid, and then take the half shaft out and continue on. So now that the slave cylinder is gone, it makes it a little bit easier and quicker to drop the trans. I've disconnected the bottom part of the cover. I've disconnected the axles, the half shaft, the starter. I disconnected the fuel line. And now I'm going to do the motor mounts, the last few bolts, and that should be good. So I'm just removing the transmission bolts that are left on here, and that will clear the top part of the flywheel protector plate. So all the transmission bolts are now removed. And now I can free up the bottom part. So now, if you get it on the bottom here, You can go from that side. Put a jack right in the center. Just give it support. All right. Now, if you look up here, there's 3 bolts. We're going to remove the 3 bolts in the motor mounts, and this will free this guy, and then we could drop the tranny, and the motor will lean sideways, and it'll be easier to slide out. Alright, so now that we've removed all 3 bolts for the motor mount, we're going to remove the main bolt that holds the mount that's the main bolt for the chassis mount. There's the transmission motor mount bolt. So this bracket from drag racing over the years cracked, and I had to get it re-welded, and I never had a chance to repaint it. So this is going to be a good opportunity to get this sand blasted and then shot black and black and put it back in the car. Okay, so the transmission's broke loose. The only thing now is we got to separate it from the car. I'm going to use the jack as support. There it goes. So now I'm going to slide the jack underneath. And then I'll just simply slide it off, and then I'll have the jack do the work of carrying. There it goes. Now we come down slowly. There you have it. Okay, so I got some wood here. I'm going to jack up the motor. That way it's not leaning. Alright guys, and that's it for today's video. Transmission is successfully pulled out. Stay tuned for part 3, where we're going to take the transmission apart, break it down, clean it, rebuild it, and part 4 we'll be putting it back in the car and getting it going. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button, comment below.